Hi everyone and welcome for another Apitherapy video. This time it will be very simple, very brief, very short, and it will be about honey and love. Now, I'm doing that video on a special day and it's a day that talks about love quite a bit. It's February 14th. So probably that's why this is the topic. So it's a point of view about honey. So let's first see how the bees are actually preparing honey. They go on flowers, we know, the bees, they get their food on the flowers, and they actually collect pollen, that powder, and that's how they pollinate the flowers actually, by collecting the pollen. They have hair on their body, so they get pollen all over themselves, and they pollinate the flowers. And while they do that, they harvest that powder, that pollen, they put it together with a little bit of their saliva, and then they stack it in their hind legs, in their corbiculae they have there, and that forms those little pellets. They have one on each back leg, hind leg, they got. And that's how they harvest the pollen. But while they do this, they also collect the nectar on the flowers. And that nectar is something very specific because the plants are actually producing that nectar as a gift for the pollinators that come. Basically, we would say, usually in a more scientific vision of things, we would usually say that the plants produce that nectar in order to attract the pollinators. But there is something special happening. The bees are actually collecting pollen as well. So, and in some plants, the bees are going on those plants mainly for the pollen because they almost produce no nectar. So nectar is not necessary for plants to produce. It's some like a bonus that they create, and they do it as a gift, because bees could live only on pollen, not right now as their biology is made, but they could have evolved where there wouldn't be any nectar. They could eat only pollen. It's rich. It is rich enough. And of course, their digestive system would have to evolve. It's not ready for this now, and they are prepared for the nectar and everything. Nature is very clever. But my point here is nature did something very special by making the plants produce nectar, something that is sweet, something really high in carbohydrate. Pollen is really high in protein. It has quite a few carbohydrates, lots, in a nutritive point of view, it's really, really rich, that pollen. It's just amazing. Such a great source of food. It's the source of food that the baby needs in order to grow that fast, that quickly, and it's complete. So it's great. It's already there. It's already amazing. And the bees are harvesting that pollen. So this is already something really amazing. And that nectar is mainly a source of sugar. There's more in nectar and honey than just sugar, but there's also minerals and so on, but it's mainly sugar. And this is just amazing that the plants are creating that special food that would attract, because we love that sugar. The bees love it. We love it as well, usually. And it's very special. It's like some kind of bonus. It's something created with love, let's say. If we think about it, it's a gift for the bees. It's to attract them. And how does love work? It's attractive. It gives. It's exactly like this. And the bees collect that. And then they bring it back to their beehive. And how do they make that honey? Well, they absorb that nectar on the flower, they absorb it, and then they go back in the hive and they will actually share it with other bees through their mouth. They actually give it to another bee, mouth to mouth, and that bee, it's like kiss to kiss a little bit. The other bee will absorb it, that nectar again, would absorb some of the water of it to diminish the water content of that nectar and add to it some of its enzymes, the bee enzymes, and then it would give it again to another bee. And kiss to kiss, 5 to 10 bees usually, and they will actually add enzymes and reduce the amount of water in that nectar. And then when it's ready, they did this procedure enough times, they will put it in the cells, and the wax cells in the beehive, and then the honey will mature, will actually get some water content out of it again, will evaporate some water, and it will become honey. Then it will seal it, cap it with wax. But this is just amazing to see that in order to make the honey, they give it mouth to mouth, like kiss to kiss, quite a few times actually. So this is really connected to love. Again, it's another sign. So we've seen it in the plant. It's a gift, it's a love, it's some attraction. And it's sweet. It's very special. It's a love gift. And it's there, it's abundant. So they collect it, then kiss to kiss. And then what? Then it transforms. It will get mature into honey. And once it's turned into honey, it will last forever. Just like love. That lasts forever. Like a solid, strong love will last forever. And it shows us that vibration of love, how the bees work with it. Another little level to add to this, another addition, is when the bees are pollinating the flowers. That's where they collect the nectar, right? They collect the pollen. While they do this, they pollinate the flowers. And in the meantime, they will, absorb that nectar. So while they absorb that nectar, they are pollinating flowers. While they do this, what is happening in the flower? Well, this is the sexual organs of the plants. So, and that's where they actually connect together. The male part of the flower and the female part of the flower. That's pollination. So it's that union of love, as we know it, that is happening in the plants. And it's at that moment that the bees are collecting that nectar. It's just when we are in love or when we make love, there's an exchange, and those two forces, male and female, connect together. They create life, they generate life. And that's where that nectar is present. This is just amazing. When there's that physical connection between men and women, when they make love, well, there's something physical happening, but there's something also like a bonus, let's say, like something special about love that is given in a more subtle plan. And this is the nectar. It's just like a reflection of what love is, that nectar. It's that something special, subtle, that is above what is happening really physically. And that's the intensity we live. If we collect that love, that energy of love, we collect it, we appreciate it, and we keep it, and then mouth to mouth, kiss to kiss, we keep that energy. This is an image. We keep it and we allow it to mature and we preserve it, then this love will be eternal. This love will keep forever. They found honey in the pyramids in Egypt that was about 4,000 years old and it was still good. This is amazing. It shows us how that energy of love works. So that's the point of view on honey that I wanted you to have. And of course, we can use honey in our body. All of our body love honey. There's even, for me, the greatest proof of this is there's a scientist in Egypt that did a specific study. It was about brain tumor cancer. And he had two different groups. With one group, he removed the tumor and regular procedure. For the other one, remove the tumor and then fill in with honey before closing. And the group where the honey has been added actually had way less metastasis and way less cancer coming back after the operation, and it healed better. This is special. And that haven't been done many, many, many times, but it's been done. So it's just showing us even our brain love honey. Honey is just amazing. It's used so much for our wounds, many different type of wounds. We can apply it pretty much everywhere in our body. This is just amazing how it's being loved. It has that vibration of love. I just wanted to share with you that principle of love connected with honey, so that when we see honey, we understand what it represents, the symbol behind it. Thank you very much for listening, and see you another time for another Apitherapy video.